Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 3 of Pop Culture and Entertainment Ethics. I am in the process of working through your papers for week 2. I'm really excited to see what you guys have done. I got the sense that many of you guys wrote about Blackish, and that's maybe that's a good thing. You opted for the funny instead of the heavy in a lot of cases. And this week, that's exactly what we'll be focused on. Although we may be looking more at the dark side of humor rather than just the straightforward funny side, as this week our module is on the ethics of humor. I think all of us recognize that there's an ethical limit, or there are ethical limits to when we should or shouldn't laugh, or when it may or may not be appropriate to tell certain kinds of jokes. Timing's a big one, right? So some tragedy happens and someone makes a joke about something to follow up by saying, "Oh, too soon," as if there's some temporal space that's required in order to make joke telling okay. Or you can imagine, what's the line from the Bare Naked Ladies song? "I'm the kind of guy who laughs at a funeral." Maybe there are some situations or contexts in which laughter is morally inappropriate. Or there may be some subjects that are so taboo that they are not, that it would be some kind of moral transgression to laugh and make fun of those sorts of things. So you think a lot of times about the seriousness of our attitudes about religion, for example. Would it be appropriate to laugh about God? I mean, I'm sure we have lots of jokes about those kinds of things, but that's just sort of one example that springs to mind. Or probably, I mean, I think we could fairly safely agree with this, that one of the edgiest things we can make jokes about are issues about race and gender, about being in disadvantaged positions in society in general. So those are the kinds of things that we'll look at this week. And I couldn't be more pleased that we have a guest professor joining us for this module, Dr. Steve Gimbel from Gettysburg College. Steve will be joining us on the discussion board this week. In fact, he just told me he's already posted something. And I'd like for you guys to read the chapter from his newest book that focuses on humor ethics. And I know I say this in the written introduction, but that's one of the things that makes Steve, I think, pretty unique, is that he's got a fairly comprehensive view of the ethics of telling jokes, and he does a nice job of laying out the possible points of view on it, about when joking may or may not be ethical about certain things, or what the ethical limits are for the funny. So we'll have a little look at that. It's probably the most sophisticated reading we'll do for this semester, so you want to give yourself some time to give it a proper reading through. The article that we read for the discussion board last week was relatively light and raised some pretty interesting points, but Steve's chapter is a genuine piece of moral philosophy, which means you'll have to pay attention as you're reading, and some of the onus will be on you to try to tease through the positions that he's talking about. So give yourself some time, read slowly and read carefully, so you can be sure you understand exactly the lay of the land as Steve's laying it out. It may not be a terrible time to go back and review some of the ethical theories from PHI 1600, or to have a glance at the stuff that I posted in Module 1 that's meant to refresh your memory about that. You'll see some of those themes show up in Steve's analysis and how he lays out the various arguments. That some of those positions draw on things that you learned in PHI 1600, so reviewing those ethical theories will probably help you put things in context. The discussion board this week is just meant to be an open discussion. So rather than last week where we had a prescribed topic that I wanted you guys to think about why am I drawing a blank on this? Cultural appropriation. Here, the discussion board is for you guys and me to talk with Steve about the ideas in his book. So you'll need to read the chapter, I think, relatively early in the week, and please try to post in the discussion forum by Thursday or Friday, so that he has an opportunity to then come in and respond to the questions that you've got. He's more than happy to do it, and I think you guys will find that well, as you watch the videos and so forth this week, that he's not only very bright, he's probably the best philosopher of humor going these days, at least the most original philosopher of humor going these days. He's also really funny and a great guy, so I couldn't be happier that he's joining our discussion. We may also be joined by another guest. I don't want to put too much pressure on him or throw him under the bus if he doesn't get a chance to join us. But another professor friend of mine may join the discussion board on this particular topic. If he shows up, I'll make sure he introduces himself. If not, we'll still have a great time chatting with Steve. And also the reflection paper for this week will, in addition to the discussion board, The reflection paper will focus on Steve's chapter. So the sooner you get that read, the more we can get started thinking this stuff through. I promise this will be the most reading you'll do all semester as far as teasing out the issues. I think that's it for now. As usual, shoot me an email if you have any questions, and I'm happy to get back to you as soon as possible. And good luck. See you on the discussion board this week.